Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, The Glammed Rebel. I hope everyone's having a good day. Please like, comment, and subscribe for daily updates. B&B fan theories. What if Ridge never married? Soap operas thrive on romance, rivalry, and the fragile hope that true love can withstand all odds. For nearly 4 decades on The Bold and the Beautiful, Ridge Forrester, initially portrayed by Ron Moss and later by Torsten Kay, has been the focal point of this drama. His endless cycle of marriages, divorces, annulments, and remarriages has defined not only his character, but also the destinies of Brooke, Logan, Taylor Hayes, and nearly every family connected to Forrester creations. But what if Ridge had never married anyone at all? What if he had remained perpetually single, a charming bachelor whose entanglements never culminated in a walk down the aisle? This speculative exploration rewrites Ridge's marital history to imagine the ripple effects across the Forrester, Logan, and Spencer families. In this alternate universe, we'll uncover surprising alliances, betrayals that never happened, and entirely new dynamics that could have reshaped The Bold and the Beautiful. Ridge is the eternal bachelor. At the heart of this theory lies one radical change. Ridge never commits himself legally or ceremonially to anyone. Ridge engages in romance, seduction, and heartbreak, but he never marries. He remains a free agent in both his personal and professional life. This shift alters the foundation of the show, because Ridge's marriages have been the glue, and occasionally the grenade, that bound rival families together. Without those marriages, the alliances, rivalries, and storylines take on dramatically different shapes. The Brooke factor. Would she still be the slut from the valley? Ridge has always shaped Brooke Logan's identity. Their cyclical relationship, punctuated by countless weddings, vows, and dramatic interruptions, made her both the show's heroine and its most polarizing figure. Without a marriage to Ridge, Brooke's entire trajectory shifts. Brooke's rise without the ring. If Ridge never marries her, Brooke never gains the repeated legitimacy of being Ridge's wife. Stephanie Forrester's disdain is likely to intensify, portraying Brooke as merely a mistress incapable of conclusively sealing the deal. This situation might harden Brooke earlier in her story arc, pushing her to assert herself as a businesswoman sooner rather than leaning on marital status for power within Forrester creations. Alternative romantic paths. Brooke might have thrown herself more completely into her relationships with Eric, Nick, Deacon, or Bill. Without Ridge as a fallback husband, one of these other men might have become her true long-term partner. Imagine a timeline where Brooke actually stayed married to Eric, cementing her as the matriarch of Forrester creations instead of being perpetually cast out and pulled back in by Ridge. Impact on hope. If Brooke Logan had never married Ridge, her story, already complicated by the scandalous circumstances of her birth, would carry a different weight. The Forresters might have contested Hope's legitimacy even more, fueling her underdog identity. Taylor Hayes, the almost wife who was never married. Taylor Hayes' rivalry with Brooke is one of the most iconic soap feuds of all time. But if Ridge never marries, Taylor's position shifts dramatically. Taylor without Ridge's ring. Taylor's identity on the show has been rooted in her status as Ridge's wife and the mother of his children. Without marriage, Taylor remains a respected psychiatrist and mother, but she loses the social capital of being Ridge's chosen spouse. The children's legitimacy question. Thomas, Steffi, and Phoebe would still exist, but their legitimacy might be under constant attack. Stephanie Forrester, who always favored Taylor over Brooke, might double down on protecting Taylor and her children's standing within the family. Alternatively, without the symbolic authority of marriage, Taylor's influence at Forrester Creations could have been more tenuous. Taylor's other paths. Without Ridge as her anchor, Taylor might have pursued lasting relationships with other men like Thorne Forrester or Nick Marone. This could have shifted the infamous Brooke-Taylor rivalry into a more professional competition rather than an endless romantic tug-of-war. The Forrester family, a dynasty without Ridge's marriages. Ridge's marital entanglements have shaped the Forrester family. His unions with Brooke and Taylor, in particular, created lasting divisions and alliances. Without them, the Forrester family tree and power structure looks quite different. Eric's role. Eric Forrester often played mediator between Ridge's wives and Stephanie. Without those marriages, Eric's role might have remained more patriarchal and less reactionary. He might have consolidated more authority at Forrester Creations, avoiding the constant upheaval tied to Ridge's marital drama. Thorne's opportunities. Thorne, often overshadowed by Ridge, might have had more room to grow as a leading man in the absence of Ridge's constant headline-making marriages. Perhaps Thorne could have married Brooke or Taylor himself, creating entirely new rivalries with Ridge. Stephanie's battles. Brooke's repeated ascent to the role of Ridge's wife fueled Stephanie's hatred for him. Without those weddings, Stephanie's battles with Brooke might have been solely centered on business, class resentment, and motherhood rather than the sanctity of Ridge's marriages. These changes could have produced a leaner, sharper rivalry. The Logan family, sisters and scandals reimagined. Brooke's romantic pull toward Ridge often cast her sisters in supporting roles. Without Ridge's marriages, Donna, Katie, and even Bridget might have had greater prominence. Katie's position. Without Brooke's involvement in Ridge-related drama, Katie might have had a stronger relationship with Bill Spencer. Ridge's absence in the marital equation could mean a stronger Logan-Spencer bond. Donna's path. Donna, who often lived in Brooke's shadow, might have enjoyed more spotlight if Ridge wasn't perpetually entangled with Brooke. Perhaps Donna's marriages, to Eric, for example, would have had more narrative impact without Ridge constantly pulling attention. Bridget's trauma. If Ridge hadn't been involved in the triangle equation, the framing of Bridget's mother's betrayal with Deacon might have changed. If Ridge's marriages had not legitimized Brooke, Bridget might have more completely rejected her mother. The Spencer family, Bill without Brooke. Bill Spencer Jr.'s most iconic romance was with Brooke, which caused major fallout with Katie. Without Ridge's marriages shaping Brooke's identity, her relationship with Bill might have played out differently. Bill could have married Brooke outright, making the Logans and Spencers the dominant dynasty instead of the Forresters. Imagine a Brooke-Bill power couple running both Forrester Creations and Spencer Publications, leaving Ridge as the perpetual bachelor outsider. Unforeseen alliances. If Ridge never married, entirely new alliances might have taken shape. Brooke and Eric as lasting partners. Instead of circling back to Ridge, Brooke might have remained married to Eric, cementing herself as the Forrester matriarch and shifting the Logan-Forrester dynamic from rivalry to dominance. Taylor and Thorne. With Ridge unavailable as a husband, Taylor might have turned to Thorne permanently, stabilizing her children's place in the family. Bill and Brooke versus Ridge. Ridge, as a bachelor, might have become a permanent romantic rival to Bill, creating corporate and personal wars that reshaped Los Angeles power plays. Surprising betrayals that never happened. Ridge's marriages created betrayals that defined decades of storytelling. Without them, the betrayals would look different or never occur at all. No Brooke-Taylor endless rivalry. While they might still clash, their feud would lack the repeated spark of Ridge's wedding vows. No Katie Brooke-Bill betrayal. If Brooke had found stability elsewhere, Katie may never have experienced her sister's ultimate betrayal. No Ridge dumped at the altar drama. The iconic soap trope of interrupted weddings would lose its most frequent victim. Professional ripples at Forrester Creations. Ridge's marriages often determined who controlled Forrester Creations. Brooke used her status as Ridge's wife to gain leverage. Taylor used hers to protect her children's legacy. Without those marriages, the company's power struggles would look entirely different. Perhaps Brooke's business acumen would stand on its own sooner, earning her respect rather than suspicion. Maybe Taylor's credibility as a psychiatrist would give her a stronger foothold in corporate battles. Ridge, perpetually unattached, might become the eternal creative genius, never bogged down by marital drama. The Brooke-Taylor rivalry reframed. Without marriage, Brooke and Taylor's feud would still exist, but shift focus. Instead of who will Ridge marry, the battle might become who does Ridge truly love? A subtler but still potent competition. Their professional and maternal rivalries could come to the forefront, with Ridge as the eternal prize they can never quite claim. The question arises, is Ridge a man, a myth, or a villain? If Ridge never marries, his character development shifts. Instead of the tortured husband torn between two women, Ridge becomes the eternal playboy who refuses to commit. Over time, this situation could darken his character, making him more of a soap villain than a romantic hero. His inability to marry might frustrate Brooke, Taylor, and others, painting him as selfish and destructive rather than a man of destiny. Fan reception. Would viewers accept it? One reason Ridge's marriages were so iconic is because they gave viewers spectacle. Wedding gowns, lavish ceremonies, shocking interruptions. These were staples of the bold and the beautiful. Removing them would deny fans that drama. However, Ridge as a permanent bachelor could create a different kind of tension, with constant romantic near misses fueling decades of storylines. Conclusion: a universe without I do. If Ridge Forrester had never married, the bold and the beautiful would be an entirely different show. Brooke's identity as Ridge's eternal bride would vanish. Taylor's claim to family legitimacy would falter, and Stephanie's lifelong war against Brooke would take a different shape. The Logan, Forrester, and Spencer families would align differently, producing new power structures, betrayals, and rivalries. While fans might miss the iconic weddings and divorces, this alternate universe offers its intrigue. Ridge as the eternal, unattainable bachelor, forever shaping lives without ever committing to one. In this world, love remains as messy and dramatic as ever, but the ripples of one man's refusal to say, I do, change everything. You are welcome to share any video requests in the comments. I will make a video about it. Stay connected with the Glammed Rebel for all the latest updates, spoilers, and deep dive recaps. See you in the next video. Stay safe and healthy. May God keep you safe. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell button for daily updates.